Ladies and gentlemen, on stage 2, Carnival! I know the night is a little bit late, but we still have something else. But before that, when you came into this hall, you were given a piece of paper where you vote. It has been a tradition where you will vote the best play, the best actor, and the best actress. So if you could kindly fill up those forms and pass it to the front, we will count those forms. But to buy us some time, while that is going on, I have a very special treat for everyone. Yes. Just thinking of it makes me running like this on my toes. The greatest young monologue artist ever! Arief Subhan!
I can tell you where it started. I was 6 years old and I remember sitting cross-legged on the veranda with my magnifying glass. It was a present from my stepdad. Silly old man thought that I grew up to be a scientist. Angling it just right so that the light would shine on the end that I had been stalking. I remember the sizzle and the way that squirmed. And then there was a plop! Later on, I catch bugs and spiders. I pin them to the wall and watch them die. Slowly. There's a great sense of power watching something die. The power, the control. It was my world, and I was God. I was God. He didn't stop there. Eventually you'd get bored of little things. My first real kill was my sister Annie. No, actually it was a cat. I killed a cat. So I killed my sister's cat. Well, you know how aloof cats can be. The freaking animal hated me, so I taught it a lesson. And my sister for that matter. Always calling me weird and freak. Weird and freak. Weird and freak. I strangled it with my bare hands and then I hung its head on a hook above her bed so that she would see it the first thing in the morning when she woke up. Yes, I did. I did it. But guess what happened to me after that? They sent me off to a shrink. But I was smarter than them though, and 2 months later I was back home with a boys will be boys speech to my parents. So I had to keep things quiet for a while. Birds, snakes, rats, any small animals I could get my hands on, in fact. There's a great sense of power watching something die, staring into its eyes as it draws its last breath. Fish! It's almost pleasurable. I wanted to curse, but that wouldn't seem right. Right? It wasn't anyone's fault. I've always been a loner. Not much friends in school or in UI yet. Well, it isn't anyone's fault. I just don't like her so much. But I like her. Fatima. Hair like chocolate milk that ran down her back with bright emerald eyes, like Sister Annie's cat. She was soft. She was beautiful. She was cute. She didn't have to do the Guillaume, but she was so cute. She was like the rainbow on a fine day. You know all the positive connotations after that. So I tried to talk to her and I tried to tell her how I feel, but I sent her a letter. She didn't reply. Silly girl didn't reply. She didn't reply, and you know what? I heard her saying to her friends that she thought I was a freak. Freak! That word again! No one was supposed to call me that! Especially not her! Fatima! She worked in a coffee shop in the center of town. I knew she was working that night and that she would lock up. So what I did was I waited for her and I waited for her till she locked up. Then what happened was I grabbed her from behind and I stuffed the tissue soap with chloroform. Not chlorophyll, chloroform. On her face. What happened next was that she sagged into my arms and I carried her into my car. We drove back home later and she was so beautiful lying on my bed. I tied her hands to the post on my bed and spent the night watching her sleep. She woke up the next morning and the silly girl started crying and struggling and crying and crying and struggling and crying and crying and struggling again. Did I mention she cried? She also struggled. She cried and struggled, cried and struggled. So what I did was, I took her panties and I stuffed it in her mouth so she would shut up. I enjoyed that part the most. I treated her like a princess. I fed her, I brought her to the toilet. Which woman wouldn't want that, right? On the last night, when we were making love, she bit me! And it wasn't a love bite! It was more than that. So what I did was, I took the panties from her mouth, I wrapped it around her neck, and I stared into her eyes as she drew her last breath. Funny, no?